Also developing tonight, the health department is looking into why multiple people got sick after spending the holiday weekend on one of Minnesota's most popular lakes. Kent Erdahl is live at Lake Minnetonka tonight to tell us what's happening. Kent?
Well, Julie, the big area of concern tonight is the Big Island out here at Lake Minnetonka. As you know, that's a very popular spot and was extremely packed with people over the 4th of July weekend. Hundreds of boats were out with thousands of people on the water, many swimming, and now the Department of Health is investigating multiple reports of some kind of illness possibly associated with the Big Island area, of course, here on Lake Minnetonka. They aren't sure exactly what type of illness yet, but they do know the symptoms are vomiting and diarrhea. So what they're asking people to do right now is report if they felt those symptoms and they were in that Big Island area. And how they can do that is through a hotline, the Disease Investigation phone line. That number is 612-543-5230. Don't worry, we're going to have that along with this story on KARE11.com. And we'll have more information, or we're expected to, within the next 24 hours.